Today I thought it'd be pretty cool to work on some custom zombies, and in particular, sight or line of sight. So when you get out of the line of sight of our custom zombie, they won't see you. And I think I'm going to make a zombie series where we can increase behavior of the zombies. So these zombies, oh man, they can see me. And these guys can see me. Brah, I'm in trouble. I'm going to jump in here and hide. Oh, they can't see me. Where did he go? So when you create your own custom zombies, you can make them do whatever you want and you know how they work rather than using a third party and relying on documentation. So we could add pathfinding. These guys don't have pathfinding. They don't hurt each other. Somebody asked for that, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And we could make hive mentality. That would really be cool so they can communicate. One sees you, they all start running. Even if they can't see you directly, they can see you through the other eyes of the other zombies. Let's go ahead and get started with making our custom zombies. All right, so I have a fresh base plate right here. Let's start out by getting our avatar. So hit the avatar tab, and then we'll do a rig builder. You could pick R15 or R6. Just remember the animations you create have to run under that rig. So I'm going to do R15. I'll do Mesh Avatar 2016. There we go. Drag them to the ground. And I'm going to change the animate script in the rig. So over here in the Explorer, open that up. For some reason, Roblox puts this in a local script. We need it, but we need it in a server script. Doesn't make sense. We're going to fix it. So click your rig, hit the plus, add a script. Now the script has to be named the same. So I'm going to name it animate with a capital A. All right. So I'm going to open up the Roblox version, that blue one there. And I'm going to get the scale dampening. What is that? Scale dampening percent. I'm going to go all the way down to play emote, shift and click. And I'm going to drag all this stuff under the Roblox animate into my animate script, right? So it's underneath it. It's underneath it. Cool. Now we got to get the code from the animate. So I'm going to double click the Roblox animate, the one with the little computer there. And then I'm going to do a Control A to select it all. And then a Control C to copy it all. You can select and copy however you want. We're going to go back to the animate, the one we created, the server script. Select all that. Control V to paste it. There's a little piece of code in here that I want to delete because now that we're in a server script, we don't want the zombie using the chat. So I'm going to look for setup emote chat hook. And let's just get rid of that. It'll just spew errors in the output window. It'll still function okay. So if you mess that up, it's not a big deal, but it's going to look bad in the output window. It's going to make it harder to troubleshoot. Now I can come over here and I can get this animate local script that we had from Roblox. It is now empty. I'm going to delete that one, not the one that we've been working on. Right. And that one won't hurt anything if you leave it there, but it is junk. We don't need it anymore. All right, let's go over to our game world right here. I'm going to click on it. Let's go ahead and hit this animation editor right here. Sweet. Move up to the rig so that we can see it. Click on that. And then we'll call this something like Z-Walk or whatever. Z-Walk for zombie walk. Sweet. That'll work. And then we're going to hit these three dots. This is going to be set animation priority to movement. This is going to be a movement animation priority. There we go. And I'm going to save it again. Hit save. Let's go ahead and do a traditional zombie walk. Arms are out, right? Brains. There we go. Get this guy here. That'll work. We'll do straight leg walking. Yeah. Should we move this one back a little bit? Maybe a little bit. That'll work. All right, now, what else? Maybe bend his head. There we go. And I'm going to copy this. Control, all right, what do you call it? Right click. Copy selected. And then I'm going to go out here. I think, let's make it fast. I think I'm going to go with the 6th frame. Do a paste keyframes. Maybe go to the 12th frame. Paste keyframes. You may have to move these around by clicking. You can click and drag to get different speeds, right? All right, so what do we got with that? This one is not going to move because we got to change the center step, right? So let's just go ahead and click that scrubber bar so that it's in the center. on the middle keyframe set, I should say. All right, this is one back. Let's move it up here. And then we'll just move this guy back like there. How's that? Loop it. Yeah. We can make them fast movers. And you could put other movement in there too, right? You can make these really sophisticated. But I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave this on, right? I'm not going to untoggle the animation. You could pause it, but leave that blue, right? Now, hit those three dots. You can hit your save in case you want to modify it. Hit the three dots again. Go down to Publish to Roblox. Click it. And just go ahead and move that down because I can't see my submit button. And I'll do a submit ID. Copy that ID. I didn't delete anything because I might want to modify it. I'm going to close this window. I'm going to go over to my rig. I'm going to go under the animate. Right now, this is an R15, so I'm going to put it on the run. If it's an R6, you put it on the walk. Right, so there's the run animation. The walk will work on the R15 if you hit a certain speed threshold, right? Like if your walk speed is like 4, it's going to walk. All right, I'm going to do my Control V for my number. There you go. If you do a walk and a run, they must be published under different animation IDs because there's some glitch with Roblox. So if you use that ID with your walk, you're going to run into trouble. All right, so that should work. Now we need to write a script to test it out. We can close our animation editor window, and then I'm going to scroll up to the rig, hit the plus, add a script, and it went below my animate script. There it is, script. I'll call it move it. And we'll add to this. But let's just get this up and running right now. I'll make my text a little bigger so you can see it. I want to get the character, and that's just script.parent. And I want to get the humanoid root part for position. I'm going to use that later. I don't think I'll need it now. Yeah, let's use it now for where the position is so we can walk to a destination. Let's get our humanoid root part like that. And then I get the humanoid for the walk speed. Char, wait for child, humanoid. And let's see. Let's get a random number generator. Do we need that right now? We don't need it right now. Let's get our home position. That's where we're standing right now. So I'll say HRP, humanoid root part dot position. And then I'll get a destination position. So how about dest POS? I'll make that the home position plus vector 3 new. Should we move them along the X? Sure. Let's go ahead and move them. How about 30 studs on the X? And I'm not going to change the Y or the Z. That'll just get them moving. All right, we'll get the humanoid. Walk speed, we keep it the same. Let's give it a 15. Let's use the humanoid move to method. So hum move to, and I'll do the dest position. And then when he gets there, we can send him on back, right? We'll do hum dot move to finished, connect function. This flag says whether the zombie made it there or not. We're not going to use it, but I like to put it in there. So I'll say hum move to, and then we'll go back home. That way, when we start the game, if we miss it, well, he'll be walking back. We'll be able to see some of it. Well, we could actually put a little pause in here, right? We can say wait 3 seconds for us to start up. Let's try this out. See if everything is working fine for our walk animation. And there he goes. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. I kind of like the speed too. It's a little faster than the demo. All right, nice. Let's add to this. All right, so I turned my game off. I'm going to go over to my rig. I can close the rig. I'm going to go down to server script service. I'm going to hit the plus. I'm going to add a module script. I'm going to use a module script so that all zombies can access the same code. That way I'll only have to change it once if I want to modify the AI tools. This module script is going to be called AI tools. All right, now I can call this something like, I can call it AI tools or AI lib or whatever you want. This name does not have to match that name, but this name has to match that name. Of course, you can keep the module script in the zombie itself, but then you'll have to have a module script in every single zombie. We're just going to write it once, right? So I'm going to add the player service underneath here because I only want my zombies interested in players. So I'll say players game get service players. That's the player service. Now I'll write a function. And this is going to be a method. You can write it as a method or a function. So basically the only difference is if you write AI_lib, that's a function. That's a method. I typically write methods, but we're not actually going to use it any different than a function. So I'll say find nearest players humanoid root part, HRP. All right. And then I'm going to pass in the AI NPC. And then the distance of interest. Distance of interest. All right, what else? Let's get the closest HRP. All right, that's going to be the closest player's HRP. Let's actually call it HRP so we don't get confused. And then we're going to get the AI NPC's HRP. How about AI NPC HRP? And that's AI NPC find first child humanoid root part. All right, now let's loop through the players to see who's closest. I'm going to say for I and B in pairs. Let's get the player service. And now we'll say get children. That's going to get a list of all the players in the game. And then we'll say do. I want to get the character of the player. Well, I is going to be a number like 1, 2, 3, 4. V is going to be the players. So each player has a character. I need the character. V dot character. Now I'm not going to wait for the character if the character's not ready. I'm going to do an if statement because if the character's not ready, if it's nil, we're just going to skip over them, right? We're going to go to the next player's character. Now we'll get the humanoid root part of the character of the player. So I'll say HRP and I'll do char find first child humanoid root part. Let's check to make sure both humanoid root parts are there. That's the player's character's humanoid root part, and this is the zombie's humanoid root part, AI NPC HRP. And if they are there, we will look for the difference in position. So I'm going to say diff equals, you have to do it in this order for the ray casting, because eventually we're going to want to be able to see them. So I'll say HRP dot position minus AI NPC HRP position. All right, and then we can get the distance between the player we're looking at and the zombie by doing dist diff magnitude. That's a hard word to spell. And what else? All right, so now we got to check to see if the distance is less than the distance of interest. If it is, our zombie's interested in that player. Let's go ahead and print it out just for some testing. So we'll say print closest player equals, and we'll use the player name. So V is the player, and then we'll print out the name just to make sure things are working. So if we get to this point, now the distance of interest is going to be the distance between the zombie and the player he just saw. If somebody's closer, then we're going to find that person. But if not, that's fine. If not, that will be the closest HRP. When we get down to the bottom, under this for loop, we are going to return the closest HRP. Now, if nobody's found, that's fine. It's going to return a nil. All right, let's test this out before we get too far. So I'm going to go over to my move it. If you forgot where move it is, it's in the rig. There's a rig, move it. All right, now we got to require our AI scripts or require our AI utils. So I will say AI utils require. That's going to import the table. Where is that table? That table is in server script service AI utils file. So I'll say game.serverscriptservice.ai tools. All right, so that is going to be the table that has all of my AI stuff in there. So far, we only have the find nearest thing. So we'll do AI utils, find nearest players HRP. That's what we want. We are going to pass in the character, that's the AI NPC, and then the distance of interest. Let's make it like 30 for now. We're going to make it bigger than that. All right, we'll hit the play button, hit view, output window right there, just to make sure nothing's happening, nothing weird's happening. He should run back and forth, and we should get the printout, closest player. There we go. Sweet, now we can get him chasing because now he knows where this guy is. He knows the distance, and we have the direction. Let's turn our game off. I'll close this window right here, and then I'm going to go back to move it. This is what we're going to modify. We're going to chase our players with this script. All right, so I'm going to need these variables here. That's good. I'm not going to need the desk position unless we start doing testing. Under the wait, I'll keep the wait there. It'll wait 3 seconds before games start up, before it does anything. I'm going to do a while loop. I'm going to do while, and I know purists don't like this, put the wait inside the while loop, but I'm going to do it. There we go. So this is going to remain true because it's always going to return about 0.2 seconds. It's going to wait about 0.2 seconds, like plus or minus a very small amount of time. Let's do a local closest HRP. Let's get our closest humanoid root part available of the players. And we got that here. Let's do a Control X, Control V to paste it. Maybe make this a little bigger, like 50 studs. All right, and then we'll have two things that can happen. We'll either find somebody who's close, or we won't. Right? Well, two things is this. All right, so if we find somebody that's close, we might want to jack up their speed. We might want to do different things. Let's do a Control X, Control V, and then here, if they're not close, let's just make the walk speed 0. That's going to essentially make them stop. All right, I'm not going to need this anymore. And what happens if we see somebody? Maybe we'll make them a little slower than the player. Well, it's testing, right? Maybe a 12. Remember, if you go too slow, you're going to go down to your walk animation. All right, so we'll do local. We're not going to need a target. Let's do a hum dot move to. That's a colon. There we go. Move to closest HRP dot position. So this is going to tell the zombie to move to this position. The second argument is an update argument. So you give the closest HRP. If the HRP is moving around, then the move to is going to chase after it. That's pretty handy. All right, so once he starts chasing, maybe we don't want to update quite as fast, right? So we'll say wait here. Let him run for at least a second. All right, let's try this out. Let's hit our play. And here we go. Zombies chasing him. Looking good. What happens when we jump over him? Boom. There we go. All right. We have a chasing zombie. We can check the output window, make sure that there's no errors. So I turn the game off, view, output, looking good. It keeps finding the player. That's good. All right, let's add some damage to our zombie now. All right, let's go ahead and close our output window. I'm going to click on the rig, open it up, and I'm going to need a damage script in here. Let's hit the plus script, and I'm going to make it fairly simple. I'll just call this damage. Get rid of our print statement. Let's get a variable for the character. So local char equals script dot parent, and then I'm going to put a debounce flag to slow down the damages. I'll call that can damage. Right, so we'll turn that on and off as we need to. I'll do a loop. We'll say for I and V in pairs. I'm going to add damage capability to all the zombies' body parts, right? That's just the way I'm going to decide to do it. So we'll say get children. That's going to get everything in the character, right? So it's going to get all the first level characters. It's not going to get descendants, but that's all right. The head, the foot, all that other stuff is one down from the character level. We'll say if V is a base part, then let's add the touched event to V. So V dot touched connect, function, other part. Some people put hit in there, right? That's the part that's touching V, right? And we only want to damage player. So I'm going to say local player equals game dot players colon get player from character. Well, let's get the other part's parent. So we open this up a little bit. There you go. So you can see it. And that way, if player exists, this was like a hand or a foot, right? So let's say it's a hand, a foot, or a head. And then if the parent is the character, we'll get the player from character. This will come back as a player rather than nil. Any other thing will be nil. Then we know we have a player, right? That's pretty cool. Then we could do our local hum, other part dot parent, wait for child, whoops, humanoid. Get the humanoid, do some damage. This is the player's humanoid right here. Other part would be the hand. Then you go to the character. Then you go to the humanoid. And then we'll say hum, take damage. Take damage. And let's make it low because we have a lot of body parts that will be colliding. And then we're going to put a debounce on there. Oh, we got to put our flags in there. We don't have our flags yet. We have one defined up here, the can damage, but we didn't hook it up. So we'll wait like 0.2 seconds or maybe 0.5 seconds between each touch. All right, so how do we get these flags in here? We're going to get that can damage. We're going to make sure if it is a player and can damage is true, then we're going to do some damage. But first thing we'll do is turn off can damage. And then we'll turn on can damage after we did the 0.5 wait. That way when anything fires in this script, we're going to wait 0.5 seconds before we can damage again. So that's our debounce. I know it's a little bit complicated. You could just put it on like the head and hands or something. Head, hands, arm. But I made him damage everywhere. Let's try it out. And here we go. I open up the output window and start the player. Video's getting long, so I don't want to expose you to too much unnecessary video. And he's damaging. See, he's working. Chase him around. Oh, I got him. So we got a whole horde of zombies. He's going to bring him down quick. Let's go ahead and turn this off. If you want to increase the damage, you could reduce this time to like 0.1 so it damages more often, or you can increase this number right here. Now we need to add line of sight to the zombie so that if somebody hides, the zombie won't chase them. What I need to do though is do some ray casting. I think I'm going to come over here. I'm going to rename this rig to zombie. And then I'm going to put this zombie in a model. So I right clicked. I'll have group as model. And then I'm going to put zombies right here. And I'm going to make the ray cast so that none of the zombies that are in this model are going to block other zombies, right? So let's go to our AI tools. And remember, AI tools is down here in server script service. So if you lost it right there, AI tools, let's add some ray casting parameters. We'll say local params equals raycast parameters dot new, and we're going to do a filter on the ray. So we're going to set filters on the ray. So we'll say params dot filter descendant instances. I don't want zombies to block the sight of other zombies. So I will say equals open and close curly bracket workspace dot zombies. So everything in this model, all these zombies down here, I only have one, but I'm going to have many. They don't block each other's vision. And the way we specify that they don't block the vision, we'll say params filter type equals enum raycast filter type dot exclude. All right, nice. So when we cast our ray, we're going to pass in these parameters. Where do we cast the ray? So in find nearest player's HRP, let's not cast the ray until a player is within our distance of interest. So I'm going to go under dist less than distance of interest, and I'll say local result equals workspace, it's colon, and then we'll do cast ray. we're going to need the start position of the ray, which will be AI NPC humanoid root part dot position. We're going to need how far the ray goes. Oh, that's the diff, right? And then we'll need our parameters. There we go. So we put this on a different line so you can see it. You can keep it all on one line. I'm just going to go like this. Boom. And that way you can see it. So let's see. If we get a result, right? If we get a result, let's also check to see if the result dot instance dot parent dot name equals the char name. If that's true, then we'll execute this code right here. Format selection. All right, so what is this, right? So the result is something that got hit by the raycast. The instance is what it was. Was it a wall or was it like an arm or a leg or a head? If the parent is a character, it might not be. It might be a wall, which means the workspace could be the thing that we're hitting. The name will be equal to the name of the character. If it was like an arm or something, right? Arm, parent's the character, then the name. I think that'll work pretty well. Let's go ahead and try this out. See if we can hide from our zombie. We're going to need a wall or something, right? Let's go here, home, and then I'll add a part. And we'll just make it a little bit big so we can hide. Maybe we'll do that. There we go. And let's anchor it so you didn't knock it down. Go down here where it's anchored. Click it. There we go. All right, let's play it. All right, we're entering our game. And where's the zombie? He's standing over there. He didn't know what's going on. He didn't see anybody. Oh, but he sees me now. Let's hide from him. Jump. Sweet. And he stopped. Let's add a few more zombies to see the behavior. All right, so when we duplicate our zombies, you click on that. Make sure you're not duplicating the zombies model because we have a ray casting set to filter the zombies inside that model. So let's do a Control D with the zombie selected. That duplicates it. There we go. We'll make another one, Control D. And then we can go ahead and test this out. Hit the play. Game started. How's the zombies doing? They don't see anything. Oh man, now they're chasing us. We should have given them slightly different walk speeds though. Some sort of variation. That's pretty good. Let's see if they all stop at once. We got to get them further away. But I'm pretty happy with this. They're not hurting each other. That's important. I'm thinking next video, some sort of AI behavior. So they do run a second after they lose line of sight. Yeah, I like it. Oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Now I got zombies on both sides. All right, I will see you in the next video.